Welcome to the Nutley Cisco Academy. We're here to present a packet tracer on two routers serial configuration. We'll also be working with our first run at RIP version 2. So this is the packet tracer we have. There will be a link to this on the YouTube page to this particular packet tracer undone, where you can plug in the numbers yourself. So here we go. We have built 3 networks. Here are the IP addresses that are listed next to the PCs. These will be the serial interface IP addresses. The default gateway is located here and here. So each network is separate. So I've labeled them out so you can see which networks are this. Here's network 0, our first network. And here's network 1, our second network. And we're counting this as network number 2, our third network. So we're going to configure the PCs by clicking on the PC. Click on the desktop tab. Click on IP config. And look, the numbers are magically in there. So this is for the folks where we'll take a short pause while the folks here at our location will do that. So during this time, let's talk more about default gateways. Our default gateway on this network is this. So when we configure it inside the router, we're going to configure 192.168.0.1 on gigabit Ethernet 0. But right now, as we continue to work with these beautiful numbers, can you see them back there? It's going to be very weird for the folks who are watching this video. They're like, who is he talking to? 3 or 4 years from now, they're wondering. I think I'm going to mark this video as a COVID video. Maybe that'll be the clue that something weird was happening at the same time. Okay, so that's PC 0. Let's go to PC 1. I'm matching the numbers here to the desktop. And look, I already did it. It's like magical. 192.168.0.4. You hit the tab key, it'll automatically fill in the subnet mask. And then the default gateway, which is the same on PC 0 on PC 1. Then we'll click over to the next set of PCs that are in network 1. Desktop tab, IP config, and here are the numbers once again that match. 192.168.1.3, IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, which will be the gigabit Ethernet interface on router 1. Subnet mask and default gateway. Let's see if I did the last one. I'm going to assume I did because I do. Oh, look at that, I did. These numbers here match with this number, 192.168.1.4, subnet mask, and default gateway. So the numbers are all right here. Now, theoretically, this should all work. Well, in real time, this should work. So I'm going to click X here. For all the folks who are at home and who are watching this live, I'm going to take this simple PDU packet and show you that I can send packets between the PCs in the same network. So here to here, successful because they're in the same network. Here to here, successful in the same network. Let's say I want to get my PC to my router. You can see that it's red, but we're going to still test it out for giggles. And it says it has no functioning ports because we did not configure the routers yet. And we're going to quickly take a pause for a moment. We'll have to edit this video. So I think a student just arrived. I'm going to have to edit that out completely. There's going to be a strange cut in that video. We've got to figure out how to do that without a small cut. Otherwise, everyone's going to wonder, who's Javier Gill 5 years from now? All right. I'm going to bring up a notepad because most of the work I do is on a notepad so everyone can see what I'm doing instead of trying to type it in. All right. This is going to be our intro information for router 0. So take a look here. So this is our beginning info for this router right here, which is router 0. So make sure you all have this text, because this is where the joy and happiness in my life begin. I live for this. We're not going to put a message of the day or any of the fun encryption things. We're just going to go straight into configuring the interfaces on the router. So first interface we're going to do is going to be our default gateway interface, which will be interface, and I'm going to shortcut this because I can't type, G0/0. I think that's the interface. I wonder if it's G0/0/0. We'll figure it out in a minute. IP address. We're going to use the default gateway that you can all see right here, 192.168.0.1. We're going to put the subnet mask in, so space 255.255.255.0, and the no shutdown command. Now, this has two interfaces on it. The first interface is right here. We're going to put the second interface on, and that IP address is going to be 192.168.2.1. And this is where we get to have the fun. Interface S0/0/0 IP address 192.168.2.1, same subnet. Now, there is the thing we have to put in is called clock rate. Clock rate, I think it's one word, probably one word, not two. So it could be clocks. Yeah, it's clock and rate. We're going to put 128,000 because I'm old. That's a very old speed from the 1990s. And then the no shutdown command. After you type that, you can just type an exit. So take a look at this. Pause if you're at home. People who are not at home, I will continue to talk as you type this out. You'll start to see that, oh, it's going to get bigger. I've already left a whole bunch of things out of this, but it gets bigger. By exam time, it's going to be a lot more stuff in here. Right now, we're still working bare bones. So no descriptions, no encryptions, no a bunch of other random things that we can put in here to really lock this thing down. This is nice and simple. So once you have this info, you can use this again, and I'll show you how to copy and paste in a minute. But we're going to take this and we're going to copy it. So I'm going to edit and copy this from my notepad. I'm going to go right to the 2911 router and click on it. Go from the config tab, which it usually starts at. If it starts at module, just click on the CLI tab. It says press return to get started. Unfortunately, this one already has info in it, so I'm going to erase it right now. Yours at home, you do not have to do this.
Campbell,
Yes.
I as well have to put in a password. Should I erase it?
Oh, you have a password in already? You don't have to erase it.
Yeah.
You could just,
Oh.
you don't have to erase it. We're just going to put over. Yours says ISP on it?
No, it's asking me for the password.
Oh, just put Cisco in and tell me what the name of your machine is.
Yeah, it's ISP.
Okay, that means we started this activity as ISP, so we can keep it that way. Because once you paste in the info, ISP is going to change.
Okay.
And now you'll see ISP has become router 0 by clicking the right click and hitting paste. Or you can then just hit the paste button. Either one will do it. This line will turn orange to green. This line is still red. The reason for that is we did not turn on the other side. We turned on this side, but you have to turn both sides on. All right, to shortcut this so you're not typing all of this stuff out again. All right, copy all of it. Find your notepad, just hit enter a couple of times and paste it in again. The shortcut is we're going to change this to R1. The gigabit interface is going to change because now we're on this side, and you'll see the number is default gateway is .1 on this one. And on this router, serial interface is 192.168.2.2. So we're going to make the simple number changes to make sure all of this works. So this is now going to be a 1 on the gigabit interface, and on the serial interface, we're taking not the first, because we used that the last time, we're going to take the second address. But the big part is take the clock out. You cannot have a clock on both sides. Two people cannot decide what the speed is. Only one person can decide the speed. So it's like a date. One person decides if the state is going well. The other person decides, oh, well, can't do anything about it. So once you have all of this info, and I only made 2 number changes. I made a number change here and a number change here, and I just changed that. So 3 things were changed as an entire activity. All right, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to router 1, command line. It looks like there's some passwords in here too, so obviously we'll rename that. I'm going to paste it in and get rid of what it says Nutley there. And it's now changed to R1. So I just pasted all of that in, and there you go. The state has changed to up. The line protocol's up. The interfaces are up. If I was to minimize this, things are turning green right now. I'm going to fast forward time for a second. Everything is green.
Campbell,
Yes.
for router 1, I accidentally left his R0. Is that fine?
Yeah, it's fine. It shouldn't cause a problem. As long as your interface IP addresses have changed, everything will work.
All right, yeah.
All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to test this out and see if I can send a packet from here to here. And if that works, we're good for right now. PC2 to the router, successful. PC3 to the router, successful. PC3, can I go all the way to PC0? Failed. Because there's a command we left out. You have to tell these routers who their friends are. How much time do, oh God, I could do this. We have to tell our friends who we're connected to. And this is where the fun begins. I thought you said it was fun before, Mr. Campbell. It wasn't that fun. I'm going to take this line that says exit out. And here is your commands. Router rip. Version 2. You're going to tell the network that I have things to advertise, and we're running the protocol, a routing protocol, which is RIP, and we're running version 2, and we're going to label the networks that we have. So the networks we have are 192.168.1, 192.168.2, and we have a 192.168.0. So we have to advertise each one of these. So the easiest way to do it, and the only way to do it here, is type in network. Now you're like, Mr. Campbell, you left out a whole lot of numbers here. Well, it's network 0. The next one is network 1. And our last one is network 2. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. So I put this on router 1. So I'm going to copy and paste again. This is why we're recording it. I'm going to copy router RIP version 2, all of the network addresses. I'm going to copy it, scroll up, and I'm going to paste it into the other one. So now router 0 and router 1 are sharing the same information. Now a router over time, if I was to let this sit for the next, I don't know, couple hours, it might figure out the routes between themselves, but most likely they won't. So we're going to give the route by itself. So I'm going to copy all of this all over again. It just makes life easy for me. I'm going to take all of router 0 again, taking the whole thing over, go to router 0, put your password in, paste it in again, exactly the same way, and just hit enter. I just copied and pasted on top of the configuration I had before. Whatever you had running before gets wiped out. Whatever you're running now is the new configuration. So I've done router 0. I'm going to come down and do router 1. Same way, copy. Go to the router. Oh, great. I can just paste this in the way it is. Paste, hit enter. So this was just a lot of copying, pasting. Now let's test this out. I now told this router and this router who each one's connected to. So this router now knows to get to these PCs, I got to go through here. So let's test it out. PC2 to router 0, successful. I made it from here. I crossed this router to this router. So I am almost to the end. Router 2 to router 0. It failed. Click on it again, it's successful.